Coventry City remain leaders over in the Championship, that's right, and they're joined by Middlesbrough, who of course are about to announce their new manager. Who is it? Well, I'll tell you next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video today. It is match number 16 over in the Championship, and we'll get to it in a second. If you know where you've been, smash your subscribe. You want to subscribe for Blackburn Rovers, Championship football, world football. We're going to all hear under one rooski. That's right, Coventry are running away with it right now. They are 5 points clear of their nearest and dearest. That's second place. Middlesbrough right here, right now. And of course, the chasing pack. Oh, it's very tight, though, for second and beyond. We'll get into all of that, and of course, in a minute. Big shout out to the members, big shout out to the patrons. Again, if you're new, where have you been? Hit the subscribe, your one-stop shop for Championship football. It's actually been a bit of a mad one, hasn't it, since we last spoke? With, of course, a few managers moving on. We'll talk about those as they pop up. But this is a recap of what went on last time around. I do believe I did get my predictions in for the Championship. But let's just recap. We are doing things a little differently with the prediction videos as of right now. We're going to be mixing up a little bit, trying to do a couple of new flavours, see what really resonates with you guys. But let's first and foremost look back at the results from last time. They're on the bottom of the screen right now, and as you see it, Watford pick up a draw against Bristol City. Rovers losing their 150th game against Derby County. It was meant to be, wasn't it? Meanwhile, Hull City continue to do their ting, scoring goals. 3-2 wins over Pompey. Millwall and Preston duked it out to a 1-1 draw in the Alex Neil derby. Borough with a 2-1 morale-boosting victory over Birmingham City, despite now, of course, Rob Edwards becoming a Wolverhampton Wanderers coach. Meanwhile, Norwich City did lose to Leicester, which saw the end of Liam Manning. And as of right now, it looks like Clement, former Rangers manager, is going to be coming in for Norwich. As for Middlesbrough, backtrack a little bit. It looks like this guy from Sweden, Mellberg, going to be that coach. Leicester City, though, with a big win for them. Sheffield United 0, QPR 0 at Bramall Lane. Southampton are going to stick with the interim caretaker coach. That's got them a couple of wins on the bounce here, at least probably into the new year. 3-1 winners for them over Sheffield Wednesday. Stoke did lose to Coventry in their Swansea, of course, making the decision to part with their coach, Alan Sheehan, after a 4-1 loss at home to Ipswich. Not too sure where Swansea are going with their coach. West Brom with a 2-1 win over Oxford. That put a bit of a released a little bit of pressure on Mason in the dugout. And Wrexham with a 1-0 win over Charlton at the Racecourse Ground. And as you can see over there, we have the table. Coventry City 5 points clear over Borough, who are 2 points clear over Stoke, who are in third. Preston are fourth. Hull City are fifth. And Millwall are sixth. Is an absolutely bonkers playoff situation with, of course, the chasing pack also a bit of a mystery box of teams. When you look at the table, you look at your Southamptons, you look at your West Broms, Leicesters, Wrexham's even to a point, Sheffield United, Norwich, all of those teams you would imagine would have been in the playoffs, but they are nowhere near at the moment. So kudos to Stoke, Preston, Hull and Millwall. And of course Bristol City, Charlton and Derby also getting up there and thereabouts as well. So that's the situation, of course, there. We do have a Super Brew. The link is down below, but I'm not going to bring it up because I'm not ready. I've just threw it together because I'm trying to get ahead of the curve right here. And now we're going to get into the next round of games, and these are those. And it all kicks off this coming Friday night. Well, we'll have a watch along. It will be Preston up against Rovers. Bit of a local affair, this one at Deepdale. And again, what I've been doing these past couple of videos here, I'm going with my gut. That's all it is. I've got the data in front of me. We might pick a little bit out of the data, but I'm not going to go waffle on for the last 12 years of results. So let's kick it all off with a informed Preston, who are fourth right now, 26 points for them, unbeaten in the last four, up against the Rovers side who've just lost once in the last four. So despite Rovers losing to Derby, their away form has been pretty spectacular this season. If I had it in front of me, I'd say Rovers are very much up there in regards to the top six, I would say, for their away form this season. So that's going to be the plus points for Rovers, but Preston right now in the heck of bottom are turning out the results, of course. They did slip up a little bit with a draw against up there Millwall, but of course Rovers, if this game was at Ewood, I honestly would fancy Preston to win this game. I do think Rovers might get something. The only hang up for me right now is we are injury lathered with a couple of key individuals out, Campbell being one of them. I think we have a suspension on Gardner Hickman. Also Toff, the goalkeeper, is out, which means Ainsley Pears is going to have to step it up. He's going to really deliver as well. So I'm going to go with my heart, and my heart says we're going to get a point out of this one, and 1-1, and that will be a solid point for Rovers, considering where Preston are at this stage, or should we say Spud Bros, that's right. Let's get on to the next one then, shall we? And it is Bristol City up against Swansea. It kicks off early doors on a Saturday, the 22nd of November. Bristol City under Gerhard Struber. They are 8th right now, but they're winless in the last 3. Up against Swansea, Darren O'Day is taking over the reins right here, right now. Winless in the last 4 for them. Coming at a difficult place to go there is Ashton Gate. So the form, Bristol City is not great. They haven't won in the last 3, but I think right now, because of Swansea going through a bit of an identity crisis, just who's going to be leading the line there. They've not been ripping up trees as they should have been. They were one of the early movers in the transfer market, getting spending some cash. They backed Sheehan, of course, who did end the season strongly last time around. They also got a good result against Rovers under his belt as well. But Swansea right now up for the grabs. If you got them in the next couple of games, I think you're gonna take them. So I'm gonna go with the Bristol City comfortable win here, 2-0 winners to take the points and then move on. Let's go to where are we going next? We're going to Charlton Athletic surprise package. Of course, Nathan Jones doing his thing. I just spoke to the Rovers mafioso. I've always rated Nathan Jones. I know people slam him for his shithouseness, his me factor that he's got going on, but he delivers on a bloody plate, especially when it's up against it. Look at it coming into this, though. Not the best bit of form. They are 9th for the table, 23 points, of course. But they're into this in November now, flying high and within striking distance of those playoffs. 1 win and 4, though, coming into this up against the Southampton side. Tonda Eckhart is that caretaker who's going to take over the reins for Southampton for the time being, maybe earn his stripes here. They're coming into this on back-to-back wins are the Saints, but it's coming out at the Valley. In London, of course, Charlton and Nathan Jones have made it a bit of a fortress down there. And I do think they'll get a win here. I'm going with a 2-1 win for Charlton, which, of course, will dent Southampton and probably get the fans back moaning and groaning again in the old social media space, and of course we'll maybe instigate another search or surge for a coach. Meanwhile, it's free-flowing fantasy football going on over at Coventry City right now. Frank Lampard's boys are top of the pops. They've won 5 of the last 6, of course, sitting up there with 34 points. Up against West Brom under Ryan Mason, contrasting form. They're down to 14th right now, 21 points, just 1 win in 5 coming into. They do come in on the back of a win, but that win was against Oxford at home. Coventry are going to find the back of the net here, aren't they? They're absolutely buzzing right now. And of course, I think it's just a matter of time before they make the return to the Premier League. And I do think automatics is on like Donkey Kong for Coventry. Got them winning this one. 3-0 win. And of course, back to the goal scoring front they go. Let's go to Birmingham then as they take on Norwich, of course, who are currently under the stewardship of Ryan Gary. But of course, Clement is expected to come in, probably in charge of this game for when they lock horns at St Andrews. Chris Davis bought himself a stay of execution as well. They're in 11th right now. Our Birmingham City, they won 3, lost 3 over the last 6. Now, coming into this, Birmingham City are on the back of a defeat, losing the Borough. Of course, a Borough that was all over the place mentally because Rob Edwards was linked and asked, he was on gardening leave or what have you. And then, of course, they still rose up and delivered the result in the end, 2-1 win as it was for Borough. So I do think Birmingham at home should have enough in the tank here with the Norwich side, who might have a new manager bounce, of course. I'm going to go with a draw. Yeah, it's a difficult one to call because the new manager bounce might provide something. It might, yeah, Birmingham. I don't know about Birmingham still. They've definitely kept it steady, I think, in mid-table, which is probably about right. I know Birmingham City fans were a little bit deluded over the summer with all the money they would spend, all the players they brought in, expecting automatics. But yeah, I think they're on point right now where they need to be. Derby County against Watford coming over at Pride Park. Derby under John Eustace are bubbling. Form team in the division right now, winning 5 with the bounce up against Watford under Carlos Garcia. In 15th right now, just 1 defeat in the last 5 for them, but back-to-back draws coming into this one. Again, Derby, it pains me to say it. It does pain me to say it, but they've got, they're starting to show what they're all about. An established championship side. I do think it's not going to last, though. I'm not saying they're going to go down. I think they've got too much experience in this division to go down. I think they're going to be probably mid-table at the end of it. But they've got the goal scorers in Carlton Morris. They've got the defence sorted out at the back there right now. And they've got a great keeper as well. So and of course, when Travis gets back, they have a bite in midfield. So I do think they'll win this game. 2-0 winners. Of course, that'll make it 6 on the bounce for them, and of course that would potentially put them into the top 6. For the time being, but again, it's a long old season. We'll see where we are. Let's go to Ipswich Town then as they take on Wrexham. That's right. Come match over at Portman Road. Kieran McKenna's boys 7th right now, 23rd in the table. And of course, a win for them. They'll be up to 4th. As for Wrexham, Phil Park's in there, 13th right now, 21 points for them. A win for them, they could be as high as 7th. This is, of course, at Portman Road. These two sides haven't played each other according to my data anyway. Yeah, Ipswich cooking right now. And of course, unfortunately for Rovers, even though we're not talking about them specifically, we're going to be playing them in a much better shape than we did back when, of course, we won it. We won the game at Ewood, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, I think Ipswich right now are just on a stomping spree right now. I think they're going to win this game comfortably. 3-1 winners. Wrexham, of course, take the L, of course. But, yeah, Ipswich could be up as high as 4th with a win here, especially with other teams in and around that playoff spots expected to not get the W. Meanwhile, let's go to Leicester City as they take on high-flying Stoke. That's right, coming to the King Power. Marty Caviente's boys are 12th right now, 21 points for them. Back-to-back games without a loss up against Stoke and Mark Robbins. They do come into this on the back of a defeat, but they won 4 of the last 6, so they are a very menacing team to play against right now. Stoke have been a breath of fresh air as well for themselves, and I think they can dare to dream a little bit about the playoffs at the moment because they've got the coach, they've got some experienced players in there, and they've got some foreign flair that are doing the business as well on the pitch. But I do think it's going to be a tough old game here. I think it's going to be a tight one. I'm going to go with a draw, point apiece. I think right now, when you think about it, it's a good result for Stoke in the end. Meanwhile, Oxford United up against Middlesbrough, that's right. And it does appear that we may have a new manager at the helm for Borough. Up until then, until that's confirmed, it's going to be Vavish. Adrian Vavish, I think, is he the coach there? At the moment, up against Gary Rowett and Oxford United, who are 21st right now, 13 points for them. They're winless in the last 3, just 1 win in the last 5. There's a Borough side who have just won once in the last 4, of course. Kind of went off the boil a little bit with all the Edwards talk, but now it's, of course, important that they get back on track. They sit in the second automatic spot right now, and, of course, a win for them today at the Kazam would actually be a morale-boosting one for the Borough, of course, which could have that domino, that scenario, which I do think all Borough fans are looking for now, and that is them to get promoted, and, of course, Wolverhampton Wanderers to get relegated. That would be a karma, and of course, I'm all about karma, so let's see if that transpires. I think they'll win this game. I think even if it is still a caretaker coach, I do think Middlesbrough will get the 3 points. Oxford right now are going for a bit of a lull in form, which could be a long-lasting lull if it continues to. But okay, don't get me wrong, I think it'll be a tight game, not much between them, and I do think Oxford have a chance to win this game. Specifically with, of course, the managerial situation going on. Let's go to Pompey then as they take on Millwall. That's right, coming at Fratton Park. John Mousinho's boys win us in at least the last 6 up against Millwall. And Alex Neil, they'll win us in the last 3 right now. So two sides desperate for a win for 2 different situations. Millwall trying to retain that top 6 status up against Portsmouth, trying to get away from those drop zones right now. This is a tight one because I do fancy Portsmouth at Fratton Park. I think it's a difficult place to go. And Millwall, though, on the road might be one. If it was flip-flopped around, I do think Millwall would tonk Pompey 3 or 4-0. This was a tight one. I've gone with a 1-0 surprise win. Of course, Pompey haven't won in a bunch of games. Not much in it between the two. Fine margins. And, of course, that'll be a relief for Portsmouth, but a major blow for Millwall in their search for the top 6. And then we go to QPR against Hull at Loftus Road. QPR and Julian Stefan, they're 16th right now. They're dropping like a stone. Just 1 win in 6 of them. Against Hull under Sergei Jakodovic, just 1 defeat in the last 6. They're into 5th right now in those playoffs. And, of course, well and truly in this mix. They've got the goals. They've got a good keeper as well. And, they are a team to watch out for. A whole city right now. QPR sucking balls and taking names right now. They're not doing good. And I think they can't get the win here. I don't think they'll get the win. I think they'll take a point if offered at the moment. Of course, will be back-to-back draws for them heading out of this. And then finally we go to the Sheffield derby. It's Wednesday up against United. Do Sheffield Wednesday stand a chance? Of course, Henrik Pedersen coming into this haven't won in the last 9 games up against the Sheffield United side. Winners in the last 4 for themselves. At Hillsborough, of course, a lot on the line here. Pride on the line. Honestly, I do think Sheffield United should win this game. I think Sheffield Wednesday, despite some positive news coming out of the place, I think they're all expecting relegation. I think they're just looking to start a rebuild next season, and I do think they will come back in about a year or so's time, or maybe a year and a half's time, really. A better side than they are right now. So, difficult game. I cannot see past Sheffield United. I'd love to. I really would. But ultimately, it ain't going to happen. So I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for Sheffield United. And if I'm right, that means the table will shake up a little bit. As you see, Coventry and Middlesbrough remain in top 2 spots. Stoke will be in 3rd, Preston in 4th, Ipswich up to 5th, Bristol City in 6th. Going down, it's Wednesday. It's Norwich, it's Sheffield United as of right now. But of course, it could still all change. So don't forget, Super Brew is on like Donkey Kong. So get involved with that. We'll see you soon, whenever that is. But until then, we are done.